We then proceeded at that point into our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
It is lunchtime, baby. Welcome to the lunch break for Friday, January the 18th. I'm your host today, Matt Stoker. In studio, pounding on this iPad over here. Is everything okay? Are we good?
We're good.
I had a freak out moment. I was like, "It's my first time. I don't know how to do the mic."
Okay.
Oh
no.
my
Good.
gosh.
I see like frantic finger pressing. And I'm like, I think everything's good, but
I'm just double checking.
okay. Anna Xavier in
Hi.
studio.
Everybody.
Christina Romero in studio.
Hola.
Zach Lewis behind the boards in there. How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
It's going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are good.
I'm excited to be here today. We probably have a little bit of an abbreviated show today. We have a show coming in at 1 o'clock that we all have to be ready for. So we may make it short and sweet today. But for our first topic, I want to ask you about your social media posting habits. We're going to get real serious here for a moment.
Oh my God.
I feel like this has come up a couple of times in the last few shows that we've done, but there was a new poll done by The Manifest. I'm not really sure who they are, but they did a poll of people's posting habits on social media, and it says a third of people, well, nearly a third, 30%, are posting something on social media at least 10 times a day. 1/3. So 10. Think about that.
That's a lot.
I try to think about how often I post on social media, and I don't know if that includes. I guess that might include commenting on something, right? I don't know if that counts as a post. I need to see what exactly that includes. Okay, so this says 30% of people are doing something on social media at least 10 times a day. That includes liking, sharing, or posting. So that probably is. If you include liking, then that probably matches up. I don't think that really counts, but 94% of people said they post their own content on social media. 42% said they do so at least once a day. So nearly half of people are posting something on social media at least once a day. Does that track? Like, do you think that's probably where you're at? I feel like I'm less on social media. I don't.
Well, I think it's important to also draw kind of like a line how long ago did you sign up for Facebook?
Me? Mm-hmm. A long time ago. Yeah, well over 10 years ago.
Over 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am around the 9 years mark. Christina?
Oh, well, I think it was like 2004. It was the first time it came to my college. So
wow.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I want to say I had it around then, but I didn't use it because I had MySpace.
Right. I didn't use it. I used MySpace.
In Portugal, we had High Five.
Was that similar to are you familiar with the MySpace?
Yes.
Over here?
MySpace was only for bands in Portugal.
Okay.
Yeah, only bands or people that were artists actually had it. It was a very like niche-y thing.
It was called Bearspace in Portugal.
Bearspace?
Yeah, I've had Facebook since high school, but I infamously, it's happened on the internet. This is big news. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Freshman year of college, my account got, I don't know, some kind of bug or something, or some kind of spam bot or something hit it. So I deleted it and wiped everything and started over from the beginning of college. So Zach Lewis's history on the internet pre-college basically doesn't exist.
What are we missing out on? What are we missing out?
I'm finding out was nothing but good things. There's still like profile photos and stuff from freshman year of college that are like so awful. I'm like, oh, thank God, all of that is lost to the sands of time. I'm sure it exists somewhere. Who are we kidding? Like that's on a server, and in somebody's closet somewhere. It's like Zach Lewis, the early years.
Nothing
like,
is ever deleted from the internet.
Some girl that had a crush on you. It was just like a shrine.
About 8 years. That's what my Facebook account is right now.
So I think that if you have it less than kind of 7 years, you would be more prone to use it than actually people that have it for a long time, because you've just been using it for so long. You've been using it through different times of the internet, and now you're kind of like, nah, I'm just passive. I am a passive user. The only things I haven't posted, my preferred social network is actually Instagram. But like I just posted like fairly recently, and it was something about myself. But normally I tend to. There was a part in my life where I was just sharing like news articles and stuff like that and things that I liked. But yeah, it's more focused on me actually, which I'm not even gonna go there. Never mind. Okay, so yes, I posted more back in the day, and now it's way less and less and less.
Yeah.
So it's more like interacting with other accounts, kind of like especially me being abroad. It's a way for me to connect with everyone that I know. So it's how I, get with my people.
Well, when I read this, I realize just the way that I use social media is probably, well, I won't say different, but it's certainly different than some of the things they describe here. Rarely do I post my own stuff. I'll put a picture up on Instagram like once every week or something like that, or every few days, but it's certainly not once a day. Am I doing that, or am I writing something eloquent and hilarious on Twitter or anything like that? I'm usually just sharing things. Is kind of what I do.
And I know someone who used to post, and this is a girl that I went to college with. Y'all, she would post at least 10 times a day. At least posting her own thoughts on things, and it would be kind of like master thesis. Like she would write a lot. I'm like, girl, I'm taking you off my timeline. Honestly, and it was always about herself, and how she was progressing and how she was just changing, and if I want to know in detail what's going on with you, I'll probably message you. I don't need to have a scoop into your soul. I do know those people.
Yeah. Christina, do you miss MySpace?
No, MySpace was drama for me.
Hold on. What do you mean you don't miss MySpace?
MySpace was a very dramatic time in my life. Well, what are we kidding? Everything's a very dramatic time in my life, but MySpace was it was just bad vibes for me.
I miss a lot about MySpace.
Yeah. Were you a big MySpace user? I guess this would have been high school time.
Dude, okay, listen. MySpace had... the kids don't know. That's the thing. The youth of today don't know how good we had it. Back in my day, all right, MySpace had custom templates and a song that would play that you could set whatever you want when you go to your
loved
thing.
that.
What?
And you could customize your profile to have sick banners and flame text.
It would slow down every single computer because it would be glittery gifs all over the place, and then a song that would automatically play.
I just remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have things falling off, snow and stuff
you
like
could
that?
set custom cursors, and you had your whole top 8 was the greatest.
That's
your
the
top
most-
8 friends.
me
That was the most insidious thing about MySpace
That
was
made
the
me
top
anxious. If I went to my friend's page and saw that I wasn't on their top 8 anymore, I would freak out and wonder what happened and what I did. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You could put hours into developing your custom MySpace look and share it with friends. Check out my hot page. There was so much more to it. Now with Facebook, we get a lame news feed that's not even sorted by timeline. It's just, hey, here's what's popular. We think with a bunch of ads. It sucks. It was so much cooler.
I liked MySpace for and this is the part of it that I wish was archived because it doesn't seem to be. My MySpace page still exists in some form. There's still some photos of it. I don't even know how to get into it anymore. But if you look it up, there are some, I guess, public profile photos from forever ago. But what I miss is there was a blogging aspect to it. You could make these long posts that people would see or they could click on. It was like a blog.
Is this
This is MySpace
live
today.
journal?
Search me. do me a favor. Go to search.
How do you even? I mean, look, this is
Do
nothing
it.
like the MySpace. we
No,
know
no.
about.
This is.
Okay,
I mean,
hold
it's
on.
pretty much just banned. Yeah, it's
This
all
looks
bands.
like MSN.
Look how big that search.
Not capitalized.
search
by the way.
page is.
Not capitalized.
Let's see. Not
South Park.
articles.
People.
People. There I am.
last
Top of the
one.
list, right there.
That is not you.
That's me.
Stop.
That is
going
me.
there. I'm so excited.
This is not you.
Nice profile.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's me.
Wow.
Oh my God, it is. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
What sick band were you in, Matt?
I was not in a sick band. I was
It looks
I was just me.
so much like a
Oh
band.
God. Hold on. I
Oh,
went
no.
too
Can
far.
we please look everyone up?
What
Photos.
is-
Yeah, click through photos.
Okay, hold
top
on.
8.
When
I
you
don't think
scroll-
any of my top 8 even exists
When you
anymore.
scroll
Yeah.
down, it goes to the right. It's like
Oh,
a Nintendo
come
game.
on.
There is no up and down scrolling.
That's absurd.
There are no posts. What is this?
uh,
People you're
Connections.
connected to?
That's
I
a
guess
lot.
I don't know.
You're willing to dig
Click
into that?
photos.
Hold on,
Click-
your top 8. Oh no, there's only a couple photos. Sorry, this is hard to see from in here.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh my god.
There's some good stuff.
Oh yes.
So some of these have made it onto my Facebook or Instagram page in the past.
I should be very. I don't know how I
love the
feel about
tunnel.
scrolling about this.
And then there's a lot of like Halo pictures here that I took.
Oh no, this is good
This
stuff.
is a sad,
Hold on.
like journey through my life.
Oh yeah.
There's my
oh,
dog. There's Logan when I first got him.
Hell
It
yeah.
looks
He was-
so different.
He was part robot. Yeah, he was part robot. Clearly,
Still is.
got that fixed.
Oh, this is great.
I love that.
We should go back to the show. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do a little soul searching over here
Okay.
on
I
my
love
own.
this. This is a picture into your life.
Yeah, really.
The
I
pre-
want to go on there now.
That's
and,
like
see-
12-year-old me. But no, there were some blogs there that I miss and I wish I still had. I think I did a deep dive on how bad the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon was. It was bad. It was very poor. I loved it, but it was still very poor. And I had a very heartfelt thing about Valentine's Day on there. So I was much more of a social media power user back in the MySpace days than Facebook. I guess I've just kind of grown out of it.
Or you had a lot of things to say.
I did have a lot
in
of
those years.
I got them all out. Moving on. I picked this because I just had a story that I wanted to go along with it. This is not exactly what it's talking about, but there was another survey done by, I'm trying to find who did this survey, H&R Block. And they asked folks what was the most useless thing that they learned in school or in college. Is there something in particular that you feel that you learned in school that you have never, ever put to use in your adult life?
Most useless.
Most useless.
In high school,
man.
college, just anything.
Anything.
Business calculus.
Business calculus.
Yeah, a lot of math. That would be
Math tops the
just
list.
not.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have anything, but I will say 48% of people. No, I take that back.
I am trying so hard to remember
Yes.
I barely remember what happened 2 days ago, so I'm
This one will probably strike a chord with most of you. 48% of people, this was the highest returned result, was the Pythagorean theorem. They learned it. I still remember it, but they learned it and they have never used it again.
Truth.
40% of people said it was pi. They've never found a use for pi.
Conversational.
And then it goes from the periodic table, types of rocks. This is all like math and science usually is what. So not a lot of people grew up to be scientists. It is what it sounds like. And they said that most people would want to choose, if they were to swap those out, they would want to choose something like money management and budgeting.
yeah, like
And-
life skills. That was a subject in America, right? Before in the early.
Kind of. It's kind of infrequent.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, I never took it, but there was home ec, which I think covered some of that stuff. A lot of it was like kind of oddly, like looking back on it, was like oddly gendered things. It was like, here's how you cook.
Yeah.
And
Sew a pillow. I sewed a pillow.
yeah, exactly.
Really?
So yeah, it was an odd class. Like basically just how to be a housewife, I think is kind of what it seems to be. I don't know that those really exist anymore. I imagine there's some sort of life skills class that they're teaching nowadays.
Should.
This triggered, though, for me a memory of a college course that I took. Because there are all sorts of wacky college courses out there that have absolutely nothing to do with anything that you're going to do. And I had to get as part of my degree, they wanted me to do, just get a certain amount of fine arts credit, basically. So I took a lot of film classes, and one of the ones that I took was a study on ultraviolet films and professional wrestling and comics, which was like right down my alley.
Right.
exactly what I wanted
It
to
had
talk
your
about.
name all over
It
it.
did, and I
really.
was like, "How is this a college course? Like, how is this a college?" And it was great. I loved it. I loved it, everything about it. But yeah, I didn't know if anybody had taken a college course that's kind of was like that most ridiculous title on the course that you could think of.
So is this a presential course? You had to go
I didn't
to
have
this
well,
place,
it's
or was it like remote?
No, it was on campus. Yeah, and it was like it was taught by a guy who was a fan of my college radio show. Like he would hear us talking about movies and wrestling, and he was like, "You need to take my course." I was like, "Absolutely, I'll take your course."
I'm more interested in knowing who this person is and how they ended up creating this course and why it was accepted.
I'll tell you, his name was Ranjan Chibber.
Love
Sorry,
this.
slow that down one more time.
Ranjan Chibber.
Okay.
Ranjan. Shout out to Dr. Chibber. He went on. He left GW to go write for the WWE. So he was a writer there, and he created a character, a very infamous character, which I won't get into, and then left. And I think he was kind of doing his own thing.
Boom.
Yep, there he is.
Ranjan Chibber.
There he is.
Former writer for
The
WWE.
legend. We put a face
Yeah, that's
to this
him.
person.
Having worked at
Wow.
George Washington University. There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
So
That's wild.
yeah, his course was all about how wrestling is the modern myth, like wrestling and comics are the modern myth. But also for whatever reason, we also rolled ultraviolent like Japanese and Italian cinema into that as well. I don't know why.
To
But-
appeal to more people. It's just
I guess.
widen the
I guess for it to
spectrum.
count as a film class, I don't know. Like I really don't know, but
Wow.
it did count as a film course.
Because
So I
why
checked that
not?
off the list.
So I took a class in college called Special Problems. It was a really weird class. Hear me out.
I really like it.
So Special Problems was a 2-semester course, which I'd never heard of at UNT. The class had a total enrollment of 6 people. It was a class where we would get together. It was 6 of us and a teacher, and that was it. We would get together and we would go to websites that pay you to pitch them ideas for ads. And we would go to these websites and we would literally sit around for it was once a week. It was 3 hours. We would sit around and we would come up with ideas for commercials for companies like Hasbro or Lego. Lego would be like, "Hey, we're coming out with our new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line of Legos, and we want a new ad for it. So who's got an idea?" And if you weren't just doing ideas, you could also film this stuff. So we would film commercials and submit them. We did ads for like 7-Eleven and Hasbro.
And this was for money?
Yeah, they
you
pay
can-
you to do this.
Would you get paid?
No, here's what happened.
Okay.
Everything we made. No, hear me out.
Sounds like college.
Listen, everything we made went into a pool, right? This all went into one big lump at the end. And we did this through 2 semesters. We shot a bunch of different ads, and we'd be out late at night shooting a thing or early in the morning. Like we shot ads and we submitted this. This is what we did every day for a year, every class session. In order to get the creative juices flowing, me and my other classmates, the 5 of us who were still pretty close, we still hang out. We'd always like go to the bar beforehand for like an hour and a half
Sure.
and get like half price cherry limeade margaritas or something. So everybody would come in with a buzz. We'd hang out for 3 hours and we'd shoot shit and talk about our ideas. And then at the end of the year, our class, this special problems class, because of the connection to our teacher, was responsible for putting on and running the Broadcasting Entertainment Association Awards in Vegas. So all the money we made over the year paid for all of us to fly to Vegas for 2 days.
Was it a pretty good chunk of
3 days.
cash?
Wow.
Well, it turned out we didn't quite hit the bar, so UNT ponied up the rest.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really nice.
So basically, Special Problems was a class of me and 5 other people hanging out, getting to know each other, and then at the end of the year, all going to Vegas together. It was the greatest class I've ever taken.
Wow.
What a weird title for
Yeah.
what did the title of that course come from?
It came from, because it was this unique class that our professor, a guy named Jason Ballas, super cool dude, had come up with. He was like a doctorate. He was like, I don't know, he had a PhD or something in film. And he was only teaching like really high grad school level classes. And he had this idea, because of the connection through the Broadcasters Entertainment Association or whatever, to have this class to get a group of kids to run this and make things and grow their reel. So he pitched it to the school, and the school was like, "That's great. What are you going to call it?" And he's like, "I have no idea." And they were like, "Well, we have a name for classes that don't really have a category or a title. They just call them special problems." And he was like, "I love it."
Oh my god.
So that was it. Like, it was the coolest class I've ever been in.
So weird.
Yeah, me and the 5 other people who were in it, that was it. He stopped doing it after that year. It was the first year he did it. It was the last year he did it.
Wow.
I went to Vegas on my school's dime. It was awesome. Yeah, it was the wildest class ever.
I think as part of that course that I took, we did make a movie at the end of the year. It had to be a superhero movie or of some sort. I have been trying desperately to track that down.
Where is that footage?
I know the guy who did it. I'm still friends with him, but we can't. It was called Brainwave. I was an evil professor in it. I was like the villain of the story, and it ended with some professional wrestling. So that's.
Are you wearing weirdo outfits? Like the weirdest because you've been over the top, or just normal wrestling outfits?
I want to say no. I was wearing I think it was like a lab coat. And the final battle occurred within my head. If that makes sense.
Oh wow!
Like the guy was able to teleport himself into my brain space, basically into my virtual brain, and so we fought on a green screen. Where I was dressed as a scientist or something like that, and he was I can't remember exactly how it looked, but I remember I hit him with a chair at one point.
Nice.
And then he beats me, and then I don't know what I think I'm left
I want to go on a crusade. And find
I gotta find it. I gotta find it.
I definitely have old little shorts and stuff that we did in college, and they're incredibly embarrassing to watch, but I still have them. So
if I find it, it will end up here.
Not nearly as interesting as that though. Ours were super
the
lame
world premiere.
cop-outs.
The world premiere has happened here.
Yeah, all right. Let's see.
Any wild college courses on this side of the table?
I ended up not remembering anything.
Pretty tame.
Anything that exciting. Yeah.
There's nothing named anything weird, but I took I think it was movies in time, and it was a course of all the movies from when they were silent to I don't even know when we stopped.
Like abroad.
Yeah, 1930s.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, it was great.
I enjoyed all the film classes that I took.
Oh yeah, I still remember this one project. I was bragging about it the other day. Are you guys familiar with Four Brothers? It's a Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
Who else is in that? Is it Ethan Hawke or somebody?
No, it's Mark Wahlberg, Jared Hedlund, Andre 3000.
That's it.
And
That's the one.
Tyrese. And I literally watched this movie about 150 times. I love this movie. I just watched it with my dad the other day. We had to do a film project, and we had to compare a movie from our times to an older movie. And I found out that Four Brothers was actually a remake of a John Wayne Western. And so I ended up doing a project on that, and I have always...
That's awesome.
It was the coolest project I've ever had to do. It was really fun. It's cool.
That's wonderful.
Really cool.
Well, when we come back, speaking of old...
Sorry.
Do
I
you
was
have
going to play us out on the Four Brothers trailer. No audio. Doesn't need it.
It's such a great
It's
movie.
more than the color of your skin.
What was the John Wayne movie? I don't remember.
It was I can't even remember the name of it now, but it was about John Wayne and his brothers, which avenging the death of their mom, which is basically this, which you find out in the trailer. So no spoilers.
And shout out to Garrett Hedlund in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was great. He was
Star
great.
of Disney's Tron
Yes.
legacy. Yeah.
Well, when we return here on the lunch break on RNCN, I have for you one of the longest payoffs in lunch break history. Maybe not history, but it's a pretty long payoff that I've been sitting on for a little while. So we'll come back to that here on the lunch break. Stick around. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the lunch break on RNCN. Glad to have you here. So it was, Christina, I've been waiting until you came back on the show because this was something that it was 3 weeks ago where we were sitting around in this very studio having a show talking about reality television.
Yes.
You had
excited.
You had told us about your time on Let's Make a Deal.
Yes.
Where you won a dining set.
A retro
dining set.
Hold on. What?
What?
You missed out. You guys missed out a lot.
We showed the video and everything.
Yeah, you missed out a lot. We're not going to rehash old
What
stuff
are we
here.
talking about?
So yeah, well, no,
I got to meet Wayne Brady, basically.
exactly. Like she was on Let's Make It. You know the program Let's Make a Deal, right?
Hold on. I saw a clip of Let's Make a Deal at some point on one of these TVs out here, and I saw somebody that was like, "That kind of looks like Christina."
Yeah.
That was me.
That was you?
In my afro puff wig.
Where can we? Yeah, Anna and I need to see this footage. Is this on YouTube? Can I find this real quick while you guys talk? Like we're gonna
I know that.
Facebook.
I'm trying to think if the video is still in there.
I want to say it's on the Google Drive.
Is it?
I think so.
I'll see if I can dig it up real quick.
Okay.
And I'll send it to you.
Okay. All right. Well then, the rest of you talk amongst yourselves, I guess.
So anyway, we talked about that. Our departed Haley Rogers talked about the time when she wanted to be on Kid Survivor, and in that I had prepped my television debut, and I think we got sidetracked with something else, and I forgot to get to it.
Yes.
And I didn't know until after the show, and I was like, oh, damn it. Like, I had that ready to go. So, we do have video up in VLC.
Okay. Yeah, I got this queued up.
And
great.
so this is, I'll give you a little backstory here. This is probably around 2006, 2007. And a buddy of mine from college went on to kind of be a production assistant / associate, or, like assistant producer on some television shows, right? And he was working for a company that was making a show called Suburban Secrets, which is basically a true crime show that was on cable. Think of any true crime show you've ever seen on cable. That's what it was. And they were gonna do a story about a murder in Texas, in Grand Prairie, and so they were gonna come shoot down here. Not in Grand Prairie, though. I think they shot in Mansfield for whatever reason. But anyway, they came down, and he said, hey, we need some folks to fill in. Because part of what they did on that show that was different than other true crime shows is instead of just having a narrator tell the story, they would have townsfolk act out as if they were talking about it. So, if it was the two of us, we'd be like, oh, did you read in the paper that so-and-so is the prime suspect? And, oh, yeah, I know him, and stuff like that. So that's how it would go. So they did have a narrator, but for the most part, all of the exposition was handled with townsfolk. And the way they did it was they didn't get actors. They just got, like, me and my stupid friends
It's epic.
to do it. So it was we're gonna come down and shoot for a day in Texas. I know you're down there. If you're not doing anything, we'll feed you Subway and Shiner, and you just hang out there. I didn't get paid for this, but I went and shot for about 6 hours, and what you're about to see is what made it onto television. So roll that footage.
Yes.
The circumstantial evidence is certainly piling up against model student David Graham. But could this hometown hero really be capable of murder? When the gossip gets back to Grand Prairie, cold beer isn't the only thing on the lips of every cowboy in town.
Did you hear the cops have a break in that case, man? A couple kids from around here, straight A, clean cut. They were in ROTC. Remember them?
Oh, yeah, they were in the paper. They were supposed to be the town's greatest couple and all that.
Yeah, they seem like good kids to me. I don't understand it, man. That's crazy.
But even the local intelligentsia isn't convinced that David would kill for love.
They've just been making stuff up. Slumber party, telling stories, trying to one-up each other.
Yeah, I've told a couple tall tales in my time.
The good folks of Grand Prairie, Texas, can finally take.
So this is at the end of the program.
Well, it's all over, man, but that's a sad story.
Sure is sadder than any country song I ever heard.
Absolutely.
Sadder still.
So that's it. That's my television debut.
It's the best. I love it.
My God.
Wasn't it epic? It's great. I was so excited when you said we were showing this today.
Sadder than any country song I ever heard.
It's good stuff. One, you got all the good lines, so that's worth
Yeah,
mentioning.
definitely.
I did, and I think that was because I could remember them. I'm not saying anything about my the guy that was in the scene with me is my best friend from like we were 6 basically. I've known him basically my entire life, and so that's who that was with me. But for whatever reason, I guess maybe because I had a tie to the production. I guess they
were like, oh, your buddy's coming over, so let's give him more
right.
life.
Yeah. So yeah, I did the heavy lifting in that scene. He was the color commentary.
Well, to be fair, there was a lot of color. He was very natural, like the accent and everything.
That's exactly what he sounds like. He was not putting that on whatsoever.
But you were.
I was a little bit. Yeah.
It felt like you don't talk like that now. So either
no, and that's one of those things where if I get around folks from that I grew up with,
you put on a hat.
I put on a hat. I put on a orange pearl snap, and then I just start to talk a little bit like that.
Speaking of hat, can we?
I love that. Oh
I hate that.
It's a good hat.
It's a good
it's a nice hat.
It's a good hat, but I want to say if you can you forward it a little bit? I don't know if you can just like
go up.
Get to him. So that both of these are my hat. Both of these are my hat. That's the one that I like. That was my favorite one that I ever had. It fit great. It was soft. It was just like it was. I loved it. But the other one that I had didn't fit him, so I had to go with that one, which was like a hard, more of a I guess traditional style. And he got to wear the cool one. And I've been bummed about that ever since.
Your debut, and you're not wearing your best
I didn't feel like I didn't feel like my most like my most country. I was like I gotta wear this hat that kind of sits on top of my head.
I don't know what isn't country about this.
It's very
such a good look, man.
It's good stuff.
Wow.
So yeah,
you should do the 10-year challenge. Do you still have that shirt and that hat?
No, Megan threw that out. She hated that shirt. She absolutely hated that shirt.
I mean,
Orange
it is
pearl
orange,
snaps,
so
I love it.
It was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it looks good on you. It brings out like the tan in your skin.
It was it was absolutely one of my favorite shirts, which is why I wore it for my television debut. They were like dress country. I think I was wearing boots too, but that didn't make it in the shot. But yeah, I mean, I went all out right there, and the funny part was. The guys that were shooting it were all from the Northeast, so they had all come down, and they didn't really have a good idea. They were like, we were trying to spitball, like, what would a couple of country yokels have to say about this? And, like, so those lines, like, sadder than any country song I ever heard, like, they were like, wow, we need to have something that talks about country, and we need to have this or that, like, something real folksy. I'm like, fine, whatever, but it was this. They loved it. They thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. But we were just drinking beer out of the bed of a pickup truck, as you do.
Yes, that's exactly where anyone would go.
Yeah. How many beers did you get to drink? Was there water in there, or was that like legit?
No, it was legit. I mean, we probably went through a 12-pack. A piece out there. I mean, this was an all-day thing. So
Still, you were able to kind of have like a clear mind to do the line.
There's
45 seconds of footage.
There was another scene. There's another scene that didn't make it on there, but I was also in another scene where I was flipping burgers. So I was manning a grill.
Were you or were your hands?
It was like it was like this down. So it was basically my hands. It was kind of a tracking shot across the grill, and the real stars were some girls that were back there doing the same thing where they were talking about it. But I was in the foreground flipping some burgers.
If that orange pearl snap is good enough for Suburban Secrets, it's good enough for the Stoker Closet, I think. There's no reason.
I think so too.
That
but
should have taken a
You
walk.
should frame it, put it on the wall. Your debut.
It is gone. It is sadly gone forever. All right, we're going to take one more quick break. We're probably going to get out of here in just a few minutes. But there is one last story I want to talk about. So I'm going to play that. And there it is. We'll be back to talk about the googly-eyed robot. Stick around here on the lunch break on RNCN. multiple memes there on the screen.
Yeah, I was having some fun with that. I tried to go to break and oh god, doing it again now. There it is.
There we go.
I tried to go to break and rather than cut to camera 5, I cut to me and then faded in our wonderful thing, and then realized after 10 seconds that I was on Facebook, sitting here like a dope.
Yep.
I thought to myself, well, why not? I'll just just switch around.
Cut
and
around.
Thought have some fun with it. Why not? Yeah.
It's a good look.
I got Anna with some headphone thing
Oh, yeah.
earlier. I was really glad to see that. So that
Very
worked out.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So for our final story of the day, and we do have a picture to go along with this,
We do.
which we'll pull up in just a minute. But this comes to us from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. There is a chain of grocery stores there called Giant. I don't know if those exist anywhere else in the country. I assume it's probably somewhat regional. They have decided to roll out a helper, an assistant, in case you need help finding things, or they want to help like clean up spills or anything like that. This is a robotic assistant called Marty. Actually, I guess it doesn't help you. It seems to be a giant Roomba. It will go and clean up spills and report spills.
Oh my God.
And there's Marty, which I want to like. I love the effort to anthropomorphize something by sticking a pair of googly eyes on it. But to me, that just makes it terrifying. Like, you see, if I just saw this giant thing going around and it's like, oh, it's a cleaner robot, I said, okay. You put a pair of eyes on it, and now it becomes almost menacing. Like, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at when it's coming at me, staring me down with its wide open googly eyes. And I'm not really sure why.
I think they need eyebrows.
I don't.
That would fix it. Those eyes would just be rocking back and forth as it just comes towards you. Yeah, there's this menacing kind of pendulum effect.
I'm thinking, you know what, on the movies lately, when it's kind of like either a space or an action movie, you have those sound effects on like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, and you see it moving, and then like again, and then you see it again, and then it's just like in your face, and it's like the eyes just like moving.
Imagine turning the corner and like running face to face. I can't get a sense of how tall that thing is, but it looks pretty tall. It looks like it's over 6 feet tall, if not more.
I wonder if that's to keep people, to give it distance. Because I want to be honest, if I walked into a grocery store and saw that without eyes, and I like rounded a corner and bumped into it, I'd be like, oh God, and I like kind of push it out of my way and move on. Because it'd be like a cart. It'd be like an object in the world. But if it has that, it has value suddenly. And I'm like, oh God, yeah, this, okay.
It's personified. It has a personality.
Somebody cares enough to like put eyes on this, so this is a thing I should,
stay away from.
I mean, wouldn't a sign do? It really has to have eyes for you to know that it actually moves.
People don't read. This is a grocery store, not a bookstore.
Yep. They say in their press release, Marty, the tall gray robot with googly eyes, will move around the store unassisted to help identify and report hazards such as liquid spills or other food item spills. They hope it will help free up employees' time to focus on customer service. I feel like they're going to get a lot of customer service complaints saying, "Get this thing. This thing's been following me around the store all day. Have it leave me alone." But yeah, they'll be rolling it out to their 172 Giant and Martin's food markets over the next few months. So look forward to that.
It also looks like it's nighttime because, look, the amount of carts that they have, either that store is really understaffed or then, I don't know, like, would you be able to move on a store like that? It doesn't look like it.
I feel like it's got to be out, though, when people are around, right? If it's cleaning things up and helping with customer service, it's got to be out. But yeah, clearly that's when they're stocking the store. But I assume it's going to be helpful in other ways. But I don't know. Creeps me out.
This goes in line with like weird things that happen in supermarkets because I don't know if this ever took off here, but in Spain there was this big chain that used to have people on roller skates.
Like a grocery store chain?
Or Sonic?
A grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I would think
Sonic
of
would do the roller skates as well.
No, there will be people that would be like in the cashiers. Oopsies. In the cashiers back and forth and around the store helping people. And I was
Sounds
like,
terrifying.
I could never get a job. Yeah, I could never get a
I
job
would
there. I can't roller
love-
skate at all.
I always daydreamed about being that person. I'm like, standing all day. But still, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, supermarkets, grocery stores actually do create interesting things, I guess. That's terrifying. I wouldn't be talking to that. But yet again, we didn't say, oh, I am not going to cash out my own things. You know, I'm not going to check out by myself. And now we do.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's true.
I'm very curious if there's going to come a day where they have one of those that actually can assist you with things, and you speak with it and it goes and gets you stuff. And,
You know, there's a version of one of these like Google Voice or Amazon Alexa things that like has a little LCD screen on it that has faces. It'll like smile or frown and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find an image of it, and I don't remember the name of it. How do you search for something like that? Something like an Amazon Alexa or a Google Home. What is that
Is that a
called?
screen?
What is that? A smart home assistant?
I guess so.
Or-
Yeah.
yeah,
How
it's
do
a
you?
smart home.
Because I'm not finding much in any case. Like if you look for Google Home or Amazon Alexa, you're good. Otherwise,
I think
This stuff works though. Like
What do you call it?
I went by the Microsoft store at North Park. This was a few months ago, and they had one of those little robots that stands, I don't know, about 4 feet tall, and it has a face on it, where like a digital face, where it can make facial expressions and things, and it'll move its arms.
Yeah.
And man, I sat there talking to that thing for like 5 minutes because it was sitting there going, "Hi, how are you?" and it waving at me, and I would wave back at it. And it would ask me questions, and I would talk to it, and I'm like, "What am I doing?" But I wasn't the only one. Like there were probably like 7 or 8 people gathered around this little robot that was sitting there holding court, I guess, in front of the Microsoft store, and talking to people and just being generally friendly. But
don't
man,
know.
it was weird.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about. I'm
remember
looking-
when we were at ISSA, the cleaning convention.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't get to go up there. I was downstairs in the dungeon, like editing away video. But I kept seeing clips of Sarah was over there, and a robot just kept following her around. Now, this was one of those robots where like there was somebody standing on the side,
Like
and
controlling it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was controlling it and talking into it, but it was still creepy. Like terrible. It would change its face. It was terrifying.
Yeah, I did not get the sense that this one was being controlled by somebody. It seemed to have some sort of speech recognition or something like that, or it can mimic movements or whatever. Because you would wave at it and it would be like,
Oh god.
Zach, is this it?
No, I think I found it. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Let me get a. Sorry, I'm being
Stand
doing
by.
a horrible job of. Okay, hold on. I think this is it.
This
Yeah,
tablet
this
kettle.
thing. This is what I was thinking of. This is what they
Freaked
should have
me
done.
out.
can't wait.
Hold
Can't
on.
wait. I'm waiting. to
Stand
see.
by. Waiting in the wings. YouTube, don't do this to me. We're better.
Oh,
than
come on,
that.
YouTube.
We've come so far.
Blank screen? What are you doing?
Oh man.
All right, so while that is happening, in London, in King's Cross, the rail station, there's actually a hologram that is greeting you and telling you to go upstairs for food.
Really?
Yeah, but it's like a cutout board, let's say like that,
Yeah.
and then it's like white, and then there's a mini projector that projects it.
I think I got it.
We got it?
This thing. This. Have you seen this? Hold on.
The eyes of a robot, and he's looking back at you. He's curious about who you are and what you're up to.
What?
This is Vector. This is a video about Vector. He's a new creation from
Can it move?
He is a
It has
character,
wheels.
a robot that is meant to live in your home. He's always on. He's alive.
The idea
is really that Vector
So
becomes
It's
part
like
of
Wall-E.
the family.
yeah,
It's adorable.
it's like a Google Home or an Amazon Alexa, but it can wheel around and it has eyes and it like makes noises and stuff.
I don't, why does it need to move? I don't understand what is
to
the
get
point
around
of
your
it?
table.
Intentional. He can
Look at
react
it.
to
Look.
inputs in his environment and his life.
We generally want to find one defining feature and then build from that. For Vector, curiosity
There he goes.
was a big one.
What they're saying is you officially live in a time when robot sidekicks are a real thing.
Hey Vector, give me a fist bump.
Oh my god, stop, you're so cute.
It's a step closer to that sci-fi robot
Like-
that everyone wants to be friends with.
That step closer means you've got a robot in your house waiting for you to
Drives
get
into his
home.
little charging station.
Autonomous like a Mars rover.
I want one so bad.
Aware enough to avoid
I kind of
Yeah.
do. I kind of do.
And when
want
you get
one.
home, it like
adorable.
drives off its little pad and it like, hey, what's
always
going
excited
on?
to welcome you home.
It's kind of stuck to whatever you put it on, though, right? Like it can't
Right.
climb anything.
He's limited by his platforms.
Yes.
But you can put him on your bathroom
Ask him the
counter or
weather,
something,
and
and like he
he'll
can
show
do his thing. Look at him.
He can set a timer
It's
to
raining.
cause a commotion when it's finished. Activate robot
Commotion.
And he can connect his robot brain to the internet to answer your questions.
Definition of life, the characteristic state in the
He's a little robot.
I don't know.
That's a bit terrifying. That voice does not do anything for me.
With nearly 700 parts.
Like,
what?
That one right there, that's his soul part. Okay.
Well,
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's,
Well, okay.
that's
No,
Let's
no, That's
right.
it.
let's
You
get
went
too
too
much.
far.
This is getting too much.
far.
Oh, wow.
My point is, like, the animation of his eyes, like the look of that. I don't know if I can find a good.
That's very Wall-E.
Yeah,
So
like
cute.
this is one of those things people who work in a grocery store don't consider. When you're putting in robots, it's better to just sink the cash and have it do something like that because one, it looks cooler than googly eyes, and two, people are probably gonna whip out their phones and like take a video and be like, look at this cool thing, and that will get you traction to go somewhere. Like,
and it's weird
guys.
how like just a simple amount of animation can convey so much.
Yeah.
Versus
true.
just these two dead googly eyes that are staring at you.
Yeah.
Which to me just conveys menace and like I'm out to get you. But that one
Bad
can,
Doctor Who episode.
Right,
Like,
yeah, I would. I mean, as creeped out as I am about home assistants, which I don't really like the idea, I'd get one of those because that looks like a lot of fun.
See, here's my thing. Like, any time that I watch a video like that, that's like, hey, we're doing this technology, blah, 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 it just reminds me of Terminator or iRobot, or it's just a
don't think
premise.
like that.
It's a precursor.
This is the start. This is the start.
I'm like, this is where we start realizing that they're going to take over.
The biggest problem
They
with
are.
Vector, by the way, that's the name of it. It's the cost, like any technology.
How much
what
is
do you
it?
figure one of those bad boys retails at?
I'm gonna say,
$2,000.
well, yeah, I was gonna go $1,500.
I was going to 600.
Okay, well, I feel bad then. $250.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Okay.
somebody should have
$250
said
for one of those.
$1. They would have
I know
won.
the Price is Right rules. We won,
Yeah.
won on that.
I got a
$250 is not bad.
I got an Amazon Echo for Christmas.
Have you plugged it in
I
yet?
still haven't hooked it up.
No.
I need to. It's a new device, and I'm sure I can have fun with it. But I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about a microphone. And I'm sure, like, I know people say, well, your phones are listening all the time, and Facebook does. I get that, but like, just having a microphone in my home,
It's weird.
it's always on, and like it or not, is always listening to you, and that information is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Now,
kind of bugs me a little bit.
Here's the creepiest part. I actually had one for 1 year, but it's mostly unplugged. I always only plug it when I actually need it. And so it is convenient when you're cooking, when you want to know, you want to set a timer, you want to play music, all these things. But it was on the news maybe a month ago that you, as a user, you can request your history to be sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
And this German person requested it. Now, imagine, let's say you use the device for like 2 years or 1 year, even half a year. If you do use it, there's a lot of information. And so, guess what? Amazon sent the information to the wrong person.
Oh wow.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yep. And there was information detailed, like they had recordings and stuff like that, and included recordings of that person in the shower. Now,
I told you guys this technology thing.
Yeah.
Now.
It's too much.
They're like, we don't understand how this happened. How the hell don't you know what happened?
Well,
right?
right.
Like,
I
it's
mean,
impossible.
Inherent in those things, for it to wake up, it's got to hear you. So it has to be listening at all.
It has to be listening,
at all
yes.
times. Yeah. No thanks.
I
I'm
don't
not.
have. Yep, I don't have that in my house.
I'm not going down that road.
I think I really do think there's like Google or Amazon should scoop up that company that makes Vector and make a version of your Amazon Alexa or your Google Home, those are two most popular, that does that. Just make a different, like make an Amazon Echo that. And like I guarantee people that would be an easier transition for people.
Yeah.
Because it's cute.
Like a little
and
character.
it's like humanized and like it feels like it cares about you more than a dot
Maybe
that sits on a thing.
Maybe it does. Maybe it did get buy up, but they don't put the name behind it.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's available in Best Buy.
Well, there you go.
Any of you curious,
there you
go
go.
down.
We need to wrap up because we have a show
Yes.
coming up. So I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for tuning in to the lunch break. Now, we likely are going on a short hiatus, probably just for a week. We've got a lot of work around here that we got to wrap up.
Yeah, believe it or not,
So
we do actually work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is not what we do. We don't spend. Man, that'd be really sad if we spent our entire week prepping for one hour or 2 1-hour shows a week.
Sad for who?
I mean, this show would be
I'm like, that would be great.
ridiculous.
This show should be a lot better if that's what we're doing. But yeah, we likely will be out Monday and Friday of next week. But stick with us, like that page. You'll be notified when we come back. in a week's time, look to the east and watch for the lunch break to come and save you. I'm Matt, your host. I've got Anna,
Hey.
Christina,
Bye.
and Zach. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you sometime in the future.